Alright, everybody, welcome back to Asian Paranormals. Today's episode 1, we will be talking about AHP. So, boy, what is an AHP?
An AHP in our culture is basically a head with her intestines hanging out, flying around. Is a very famous urban legend or just story in general for the paranormal world, and it's just something creepy. Basically, when you think of the idea of what an AHP is pretty creepy.
Yeah. So, do you personally believe it, like, in it?
Personally, I do.
You do?
From stories, I don't believe in coincidence. Mm-hmm. You know, that's one of those things where, you know, I base my life on things, you know, that I believe in. Is I don't believe in coincidence. And the reason why I say that is because from different countries, mm-hmm. cultures, have similar stories. You know, it's just like they're just like the world having stories of dragons. Mm-hmm. You know, coincidence? I don't know. You know, maybe not. But in the Southeast Asian community, there's a lot of similarities in these stories.
Right. Because for me personally, just because like how I stated before, I'm like Americanized. Like if it comes to like, a haunted house or like a ghost, like I'll believe it, you know, because I experienced stuff. But like a creature like that, it's like, yeah, like I want to believe it, like it's, and a part of me do, but a part of me is like really skeptical about it.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that, you know, and I understand that and stuff. And here's one thing where my sister, your aunt, mm-hmm. she took anthropology class in college.
Right.
Her report was on AHP. And she had a classmate in there, and she was Mexican, and she heard the story when she did her presentation and all that stuff, and she pulled my sister aside and said, "We have the same thing in Mexico."
So the same story, like
same thing, like, you know. I will dig deep more onto how all this happened and why they're the way they are and stuff. But her classmate pulled her aside and said, you know, you have a very similar thing and stuff. Mm-hmm. And my sister was like, no way. Coincidence? I don't know. You know, yeah. but I don't believe in coincidence, and it's just interesting from what I've seen.
And I know growing up, you told a story about like your friends and whatnot.
Yeah.
And our families about AHP.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what AHP is, it's basically someone that is, you know, damned. It's kind of like when you think of it like a werewolf. You it gets passed down certain ways, and the story that I hear is that, you know, they get passed down through saliva. That's why they say don't eat food given to you by strangers. Don't share anything with strangers and stuff, and it's mainly for females. There is a male version of it, and it all has to do with black magic.
Okay. It's like a curse.
It's basically a curse. A lot of times, anybody that, you know, they tell stories about somebody, you know, somebody doing black magic, whether you're a male, it'll affect your family. Your daughters will turn into an AHP, and AHP, if I remember correctly, it happens, you know, like almost like full moon also type of thing. Mm-hmm. You know, their head comes off of their body. They have to, you know, go and feed. They feed on basically raw meat, nasty stuff. You know, anything. It's just disgusting. And for people that says they've seen sightings of AHP, is basically they see an orb flying around.
Yeah, okay, I heard that one.
An intelligent type of orb. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like, a lot of times the stories is from villages, you know, in Cambodia, Thailand, and all that stuff, is that, you know, somebody, you know, see lights flying, you know, you better get the hell away, because if you get attacked, you might turn into one. Yeah. You can also see them in basically human form also. And that's where it comes, where they say don't eat food from strangers. One thing that they say you can figure out how, you know, who an AHP is they never make eye contact with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is it? Because they're like insecure?
I don't think it's just one of those things because their eyes are red. Like it looks red and all that stuff, and they're just basically cursed souls.
Yeah.
And stuff. They would kill animals, eat animals and stuff, and I hear personal stories. Growing up, and especially like in Stockton and Long Beach and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
it's
Pretty sure there's a lot of stories out there, which I would love to hear.
yeah. So, a few stories is I had a friend. he was telling me a story. We grew up together. Middle school and all that stuff. And he told his side of the story of a family member, family member in Cambodia. It was his uncle. His uncle got married. Arranged marriage type of stuff.
Yeah.
During the wedding night, he was sleeping, and he woke up and he couldn't find his wife. So he was like, "Where the hell is this lady at?" So he's looking for the wife, but he starts smelling something bad, just a nasty smell like blood, and just something rotten and stuff. And then he looked, to the side of the room, on the side of the bed. He just saw her body, head only. Body only, no head. And that's when he knew. First thing he did was he just booked it and ran. He ran to his mom's house. Running to his mom's house, and when he got to the house, guess who was waiting for him at the door? The head of his newlywed wife. First thing she said was, "Where are you going, Wong?"
Damn.
And stuff like that. And then
I would freak out if I was in that situation. Like, just imagining it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then another couple stories was back in the days, all the Asian, not even back in the days, till this day still, Asian folks always gamble, little gambling ring. Mm-hmm. This is at Oak Park and stuff. All the folks come over and gamble and stuff, and then one night they heard loud rumbles in the dumpster, and this is at Oak Park.
Okay.
And they heard rumbling in the garbage can, and they came out, and a light just flew out from the garbage can.
Like an orb, right?
An orb, okay. But one of them saw it was just a head flying and stuff. And supposedly there's these stories about saying that there's Ab at the Old Park and all that stuff. This is when I was growing up. I was there when I was from kindergarten to the first grade.
Yeah.
And stuff. And they say, the neighbor's Ab. Like from what I hear from my mom and my siblings and stuff, and saying like, yeah, they never make eye contacts. The neighbors would see lights flying out of their homes.
The certain person home.
Mm-hmm. And like the neighbor's cat would end up missing. All they see is like freaking chewed up bodies of cats, raw meat left out.
What the fuck? Yeah,
it's creepy stuff, and it what is a famous thing. Like I said, in the Cambodian community. Mm-hmm. Anytime you tell a story of Ab, everybody already know what it is. If you're not too Americanized.
I know. I remember when we were living in Long Beach. Remember, I don't want to say their name, but the neighbor. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
I don't. I want to leave names out of this. But...
All right. So where my mom stay at, we had this neighbor. It's just weird. Supposedly, the husband in the house, he did black magic.
Yeah.
Creepy dude, really creepy dude and stuff. And
they were they were a pretty creepy family. I remember.
He had a mom there, and I've never seen her a lot. Once in a while. Very old lady. They say she was blind, right? And my your grandma, my aunt and stuff, lives in the front, and every other night or every other week they would see lights flying from the house.
Yeah.
And then the story is, the lady's a op.
That's the rumor that went around.
Mm-hmm. The rumor went around the neighborhood saying that she was a op and stuff. And for my Cambodian folks, you guys will for sure have stories about somebody that's a neighbor that you guys would call an op. It's just like the American world saying, oh, that neighbor, that lady's a witch. Mm-hmm. That type of stuff. For us, it's a op. Mm-hmm. And so that man's mom passed away. After she passed away, no more orbs or anything happening from the home.
Yeah.
nothing flying out, nothing, nothing weird, nothing eerie and stuff. It's just a lot of haunting in that spot too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the rumor. I remember you were in elementary or?
Yeah, I was in elementary around that time, and I didn't hear about the story till later on, but it kind of freaked me out. Because I heard when she passed away, did they tie her?
They had to tie her.
She asked to be tied, right?
Yeah, I can't tell you the specifics of it because I really don't know, but I think they tied her hands and her legs and stuff together so her possessed bodies or
it doesn't get passed on, right?
It doesn't get passed on, yeah, because it could become genetic too. They say that in order for an op to die, to physically leave this world, they have to pass it on to somebody. Whether it's their kid or their grandkids and all that type of stuff. Yeah, and that's one of those things, like they will suffer if they were to get caught in thorns or bushes or get stabbed or something while they are out, of their body. They will suffer in their human form and they will want to die, but they can't die unless they pass it on. Yeah, and they said that in order to keep the head of an op to come back to the body is if you find the body with no head, you have to flip the body over because they cannot get back into position when they want to come back to the body and stuff. Because they can't flip their body over. They can't flip it back and stuff, and they can't turn their head over. It's I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. It's scary. It's creepy.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, a part of me believe in it. A part of me, it's one of those things.
It's a superstition, and I believe in a lot of things and stuff. And it's just one of these stories, when it goes, from Laos to Thailand to Indonesia to Malaysia.
It's crazy how it matches on like the stories, like kind of the same.
And, every one of them have their own version of it, and is always a female, flying, and then the male version is he has to be very cursed and stuff, and his head doesn't come off, but he grows a tail. He looks like some type of demon with wings. He can fly and stuff. I can't remember what they call it. In Cambodian culture, it's called Tmok. Tmok. I can't remember what they're called in Thai and stuff. It's very similar to Krasue and all that stuff. But they're called Tmok, and they're basically the head, the main dark magic user, type of person and stuff. And it's just like in any culture, you mess with dark magic, it's gonna backfire on you somehow in some way. Yeah, and there's a lot of Cambodian movies, Thai movies, or shows and stuff that touch base on that type of story and all that stuff, and it's just a lot.
Yeah.
And of course, skeptics are going to be skeptics.
Right.
People are not going to believe it, but when you hear these type of stories, it get interesting. A head flying around.
Yeah.
With just their intestines hanging out. If you're in the village from back in the days, you just had a baby, hide the placenta and stuff.
That's what I heard too.
Yeah,
they do eat.
They do eat the placenta and stuff. You have to bury the placenta. That's why they always bury it. In Cambodia and all that stuff, because you'll get some.
You don't want to attract it and all that stuff.
Yeah, and they'll know where your home's at and all that type of stuff. And yeah, it's creepy. Growing up, I watched this thing with my mom. It's a Thai movie. It's called Jawa Ye Ap. It's basically a story about that. This lady, she became an op. She had to pass it down to her granddaughter, and she basically became that.
Yeah. So it's all about passing it on.
Yeah, and if you guys have any stories of your own version of op or personal experience,
we love to hear it.
Yeah, let us know. Send us comments. Give us your take and what you think, and if you believe in it or not, whether you feel as if it's just going to be our the Cambodian superstition or not.
Yeah. And it's real fitting that our first episode is about the op.
Yeah, because it's always something popular to talk about.
Yeah.
And it's more of a discussion type of thing. I hear these things. I don't know if it's real or not, but it's interesting as much because
we hear so much of it.
And anytime somebody sees something about op, they'll be like, I want to listen. I want to know about it. All right, so do you guys believe in it? Let us know if you do or you don't. My name is Boy.
Jay.
And we'll catch you next time on Asian Paranormals.
Yeah. Stay tuned for the next podcast. We got a lot to talk about.
All right.